All right. Good evening, everybody. It's the Fantasy Sports Boss. It is Waiver Wire Tuesday, Week 14, the fantasy football season. And there's certainly a lot to discuss today. Baker Mayfield has a new home. There's some injury updates to talk about. And, of course, playoff time. This is the week where we got to clinch playoff spots. And certainly you all know from the videos that I posted, it was just a massive disaster for me last night. And I did the separate video on it, how torturous it was. I can't even believe. And this is why I just can't stand fantasy football sometimes. To lose the way I did last night with Rashad White, to lose by 0.10 of a point, it was just like beyond cruel, in my opinion. I'd rather Rashad White have gotten no points. But anyway, listen, we all have tales of woe. We've all suffered defeats like this. Although in that one league that I'm now 7-6, and I've lost 2 games this season by a combined less than half of 1 point. I mean, that's just ridiculous. 0.3 in one and 0.1 in another. So, if I miss the fantasy playoffs, and there's a very decent chance I will in this one particular league, that's going to be the reason why. Death Lord, birthday's tomorrow. I'll be 29. Happy birthday, Death Lord. Everybody say happy birthday to Death Lord. That's 29. I wish I was 29. I'm a little bit older than that. That was the 20s were definitely fun. It's your last one in your 20s, though, so make sure you enjoy that. So yeah, that was tough, and I lost my other league as well, so I'm now 10-3. But I have the first round bye locked up, and now just hoping I can get at least one of these leagues to end up in a championship. So again, guys, if you're new to the show, hit the subscribe, hit the notification button, post your questions in the chat like always, and I'll answer them for you. So need wide receiver and flex: Palmer, Peoples, Effin Wilson. Thinking about picking up Cook off waivers. Your thoughts? James Cook, I absolutely would pick up off waivers. Assuming Zonovan Knight is already picked up, James Cook is my top waiver ad this week, hands down. So I think, yes. So Jimmy G is also going to be back in the playoffs. Yes, I'll get to all that in a second. But yeah, I would pick up a Cook if he is available. Now, so Jimmy Garoppolo, that was interesting. That just came down now. He could return in about 7 weeks, which will put him in the divisional round or the NFC Championship. So maybe my San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl pick is not lost after all. Although, listen, there's no way that Brock Purdy is going to get them that far anyway. So I really don't think it's going to be an issue anywhere yet. Anyway, yes, hit that like button. Thank you, Samora. But of course, also Baker Mayfield. That was the other big one today. He was claimed by the Rams, and I think there's a little bit of gamemanship going on here. I think the Rams just didn't want Mayfield to go to the 49ers. They are division rivals. So is there gamesmanship going on? Probably. Sean McVay definitely needs a quarterback, and they're flying him in tonight, and they sent him the game plan already and the playbook. So Mayfield is digesting the playbook as he flies out there tonight. They have a walkthrough tomorrow, I believe. And then they play, of course, Thursday against the Raiders, which is going to be just a god-awful game, but that's, par for the course this season with the Thursday night slate. So Baker Mayfield has 0 fantasy football value. I think, in super flex leagues, maybe after this week, he might have a smidge of value, but it's not great. And I've already, I've talked to you guys already. I'm really up against it, in that 7-6 league, because I don't have a quarterback with Lamar Jackson hurt, Justin Fields not playing. I wanted Tyler Huntley, but I got word from a couple other owners that they put in a claim on him. And in this league, there's like no quarterbacks available. Like everybody is hoarding quarterbacks. It's a deeper league. So I'm now left with choosing between Mac Jones, Baker Mayfield now, Sam Darnold, or Brock Purdy. Like that's what I'm forced to choose with. Now I'm probably going to go with Mac Jones because Jones actually does have a fairly decent matchup against the Arizona Cardinals, who've given up the second most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. And the Patriots have been throwing it more. So, I think Mac Jones in a pinch could get me hopefully at least one passing touchdown. I just need somebody to keep me afloat. And my situation in that league is I can lose and still back in, but I need to outscore a couple of teams. So I actually moved up, believe it or not, after that gut-wrenching loss last night. I moved up from 6th to 5th because I had a lot of points and I passed a couple of people in points. So there's, it's just going to determine based on, and I have a semi-tough matchup in the final. but I could still get in, either whether backing in if I have more points or whatnot. So the bye weeks just suck this week. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Bye weeks this week, I have Aaron Jones, Antonio Gibson on the bye. So pick 3 from these 4. Tyler Lockett, definitely. Tony Pollard, definitely. Josh Jacobs, definitely. Those are the top 3. I don't want Jeff Wilson. Watson, or do I get Goff, Cousins, or Huntley, Fields on a bye? Yes. I like Watson more than all those guys. But I put that poll up. I do like Tyler Huntley a lot, and he's quite underrated. He can run. He picks up about 40 yards rushing every time he gets a start. He's fairly accurate. He's going to be helped with the running game. But Jared Goff, to me, if I had an opportunity to get him off waivers, that's the guy I would take because he's going against the Vikings. We all know how horrible the Vikings pass defense is, the worst in the NFL. This has track me written all over it. So the Vikings and Lions players, all of them, everybody, TJ Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson, DeAndre Swift, Amon-Ra St. Brown, even DJ Chark. There's going to be a lot of points to go around that game. That's going to be an absolute shootout. For flex, you start Chark over Gibson here on out. Gibson has a bye this week. Not necessarily. I know they still want to get Jameson Williams involved. But Chark is playing better, and that passing offense has been tremendous. One of the worst weeks ever for QB injuries. Yes. So, we already know about Lamar Jackson. It's an MCL sprain. So Lamar Jackson probably not going to play this week. So that's why you have Tyler Huntley. And I think Tyler Huntley might be the best backup quarterback in the NFL. I think that here's the thing too with Lamar Jackson. He's looking at a significant payday, whether it's from the Ravens or some other team during the offseason. So does he want to risk it, played, less than 100% this week, and get hurt worse and then lose that payday? Or does he think, I have to be out there. I have to show that I'm not injury prone. Who knows? He's not going to practice tomorrow. If Jackson can get in even a limited practice, there's at least a chance. But, I just don't see it. Who would you flex this week? Palmer, Hollywood, Pickens, or Rashad White? Oh, God, Rashad White. I can't even look at that guy right now. I would say Hollywood Brown. I like Hollywood Brown a lot. They're targeting him heavily, so I would go with Hollywood Brown. Lions opened up as favorites. Yes, the Lions. Listen, the Lions are legit. They're winning games. That offense is legit. Jared Goff doing the job. As much as we like to make fun of Jared Goff, he's getting it done. Hi, Sports Best. Hi, Justin. How will Michael Carter's return, if it happens, affect Zonovan Knight? It's not going to impact him. Also, can we trust Zay Jones? After the Zay Jones and really all of the Jacksonville Jaguar wideouts, whether it's Marvin Jones, to a lesser extent, Christian Kirk, but certainly Zay Jones and Evan Engram, they all seem to alternate big games. And we have to see with Trevor Lawrence, he got testing done today. No results about his availability. I believe it's still Chad Henne, right? That's the backup there. But and Henne's, is fairly solid as well, longtime NFL backup. But, if Trevor Lawrence were to miss time, and I don't think he will because he's one of those tough as nails guys that always answers the bell, that would definitely hurt all of the Jaguars receivers. But as far as Michael Carter and Zonovan Knight, Robert Saleh likes to go with the hot hand, and he said Zonovan Knight is the guy now. He might sprinkle in some Michael Carter just to get some change of pace going. But Zonovan Knight, who's been tremendous his first 2 games, there's no reason to take him off the field. There's no reason to fiddle with this. He's catching the ball. He's running with power. He's got underrated speed. He's undrafted, but we've seen a lot of undrafted running backs. Remember Arian Foster, guys who in 6th-round pick, Terrell Davis, guys who just come out of nowhere and really, put forth some major efforts. And that's what we're seeing right now from Zonovan Knight. Had to pick between Tyler Huntley and Deshaun Watson with Lamar on the shelf. I still would go with Deshaun Watson. Huntley, we all like Huntley, but I mean, he's still put, 3 games last season where he had like between 10 and 12 fantasy points. I know he had the big blow up against Green Bay when he had 40 plus, but 3 of the 5 starts he made last season were around the 10-point mark. So it's not like he's a certainty either. Who would you pick up, Knight or Cook? I would pick up Knight because I think he has the better opportunity to run with the job, literally. Devin Singletary is not going anywhere, even if Cook becomes the starter. Should I pick up Rashad White, Zonovan Knight, or Latavius Murray? Not Latavius Murray. I would go Zonovan Knight. Listen, that's the other thing last night. So Leonard Fournette played a whole hell of a lot more than I thought he was. There was talk leading into the game that he wasn't 100%, that he was really only just going to play a handful of snaps. Well, you know what? He wound up playing one more snap than Rashad White. He caught a bunch of passes. Both guys, I think White had, he had the 16.9 shit. And Leonard Fournette, I believe, had 14 and change. For me, I have both of them in one of my leagues. I'm going to start both of them this week. I have to because Aaron Jones is on a bye. I'm going to have Tony Pollard and Rashad in the running back spots, and I'm going to have Leonard Fournette in the flex because really there's no other options out there for me. So I'm going to have to play both of these guys. But the way Tom Brady likes to target the underneath throws, they're playing the San Francisco 49ers, who's it's not a good matchup defensively as far as running the ball, but they do give up quite a few passes out of the backfield. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL actually defending passes out of the backfield. So it's not the worst idea to play both of them. All right, should I pick? Let's see. So what's up on this? Anything? Oh, hey, Lex. No, nothing good. I was just complaining again about my god-awful loss yesterday. So yeah, the other thing that I posted today was the Dallas Cowboys situation. So love the matchup against Houston. On paper, it's a swell matchup. CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, Michael Gallup all have a great chance to post points, decent points. But I think it's only going to be in the first half or maybe the first three quarters. And so that's the problem for me owning CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz is that I think that Dallas is going to blow out Houston so easily and so quickly, like what we saw last week in Indianapolis, that it's going to put those guys on ice on the bench and certainly with the receivers there, they're not going to be throwing the ball as much, that they may not hit their ceilings in terms of points. And that's what's annoying about playing such bad teams like the Texans and the Colts is that the game can get so out of hand that your guys are going to go to the bench early and they're not going to see, their optimum points. Even if Michael Carter comes back, Death Lord, it's definitely Zonovan Knight. He's done way too much good to lose that job. And just like we've seen with Mike White, Robert Saleh is going to stick with the guy that's productive. How close was your loss yesterday? Oh, my God. Okay. So Purple Cat doesn't know the story. And I was wrong about White. He had a productive game. So Purple Cat, I lost by 0.1. You read that right. 0.1. So Rachaad White got 16.9 points. I needed him to get 17. And he had it if he didn't fumble. If he didn't have that fucking fumble, excuse my language. That fumble screwed me so bad. It was the worst loss I've ever had in fantasy football. 100%. What was the exact score? Hold on. I want to pull that up really quick. So my score for the week, 126.06. My opponent, 126.16. So 0.10. And in that league, I've lost 2 games by less than 0.5 combined. So, and in that same league, the most points scored against me by far, over 1,500 points scored against me. And I'm the third highest scoring team. So this is what I hate about fantasy football. I wanted to talk about this today too. It was worth OBJ. So it doesn't look like Odell's playing this season, guys. It was brutal. It absolutely was so brutal. I can't even believe it. Like I said, I'd rather Rachaad White not catch that pass than not score. I'd rather it be worse. But that's the other thing. So call me a crybaby, whatever. But I'm really, I think fantasy football is completely outdated now. In terms of this head-to-head, weekly head-to-head stuff, because in every league, you have that guy who has an excellent team, but he's just on the wrong end of his opponents going ape shit every week with the points. Like for me, I'm 7-6. I have the third highest point total in the league. I have a stud team, but I'm by far had the most points scored against me. So it's not indicative of the best teams making the playoffs. So there's 2 ways you could do this. You could do, if it's a 12-team league and the top 6 make the playoffs, the top 5 can clinch regularly. And then the last team that gets in is the highest scoring team of the remaining 7. What I prefer is, and I know there's the app that does this online, Yahoo CBS, I don't think does this yet. They gotta figure out how to do this. I like the double matchup every week. Whereas you set up the league, 12-team league, you play somebody every week head to head, just like you do in the regular leagues, and you get a result on that. And then you get a second result by playing the rest of the league. So if a 12-team league, the top 6 scoring teams each week get the W, the bottom 6 get the L. So that you still can get rewarded for having a huge day, but your opponent has an even bigger day, and you would have outscored everybody else, but you just got unlucky with the matchup. At least you can go 1-1. So this is a league setup that I'm definitely going to do next year. I'm done with this fluky head-to-head stuff. Just like I've gotten rid of the kicker and the defense, I'm ready to move on to this all-play format. That's really the rage now. I think it's called the Sleeper app. Does anybody use the Sleeper app on here? Let me know if you do. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm definitely want to do next year. 2 results each week. So 14 weeks. So you get 28 results. I'm good with that. I think it's a great concept. The top 6 highest scoring teams each week get the W, the bottom 6 get the loss. I think it's great. And it makes it more interesting too, to watch it. And you don't have to just fixate on who your opponent has. You really got to kind of look at the big picture. And then you still have the one-on-one matchup as well. So you can end up 2-0, 1-1, 0-2. So, so Mike, the Sleeper app, is it the way I just described it? The play-in, that's not a bad idea either. But the Sleeper app, is that how I describe it, where you're playing the whole league and then you also have a one-on-one matchup? Because that's how I think it should be. How did a playoff works? Is it like real NFL playoffs or highest seed plays? Yeah, in our playoffs, top 2 teams get the bye, the other 4 teams based on seed, and then you just go from there. I asked this question yesterday, but I didn't make the right decision picking Adams and Hill at picks 10-11 because it was between both of them and Travis Kelce. You any of those guys, Death Lord. I mean, listen, Hill and Adams are just going ballistic, and Kelce's been great, but I know he's been a little bit quiet lately. You can't kick yourself for those picks you made. They were both excellent picks. Sleeper is the best platform now. Yes. But is that Lex? Is that what I described? Because I've never used Sleeper. So let me know if that's how it works. I have the most points scored, and I think the second highest against me. So I'm 8-5. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Jeff. I just had a great team, and now I'm screwed this week because, again, I have no quarterback, and I should have had a third quarterback. I didn't even think week 14 Fields was going to be on a bye. I should have backed up Lamar Jackson with Huntley, or hindsight's 2020, but just very frustrating. What I'm asking is, would you take Hill and Adams and leave Kelce out or take Kelce? No, I would leave Kelce out. Take those 2 guys. He has an option, I think, for what you mentioned. You can do any type of league. Yeah, all right. So that's what I'm going to do. But I don't like doing it on apps on the phone. I still like to have the laptop in front of me and all that stuff. So is there a way you could bring that onto a laptop? Like I'm showing my ignorance when it comes to that stuff. I'm a little older than the app generation, so I'm just curious. I do like having Yahoo on the computer, the laptop, and whatnot. Hope I could beat the people that kept rejecting all my trade offers. Yeah, that's definitely annoying when people do that. I just think it's a little bit outdated. That's all I'm saying. And I use Sleeper on laptop. It's better and more. Okay, so if you can use it on the laptop, then that's great. And that's what I'm going to try to do next season, is just convince everybody to use the Sleeper. All right, so Darren Waller's on track to come off IR next week against the Patriots. So if anybody dropped him, I would pick him up. I mean, I know he's been very disappointing, but I think he's somebody. Certainly, the talent is there. I think that he's. We've seen how good he can play when he's feeling well health-wise. So, if he's available, I think you should pick him up. So here's an interesting one too, in Seattle. So Ken Walker, he's got that ankle injury. It was an ankle jam or whatever they're calling it. They signed Wayne Gallman today. So, you can look at this 2 ways. Does this mean that they really just don't have faith that Ken Walker is going to be ready? And I'm playing against him in that league that I have to win. So I'm hoping Ken Walker misses. Or is it more an indication on Travis Homer and DJ Dallas that they're also banged up and they just want to cover themselves with Wayne Gallman just in case? So I don't know. It sounds like a funky deal with Ken Walker, and he is a rookie. I don't know why Seattle would force him out there, do right by the kid. So I'm not sure which way it's going to go. But also with Pete Carroll, you can never trust anything the guy says. He's all, sunshines and rainbows when he talks about injuries on his own players. But I thought that was interesting. That caught my eye. I'm sort of hoping that with 6 teams on bye this week, some of my league drops a good player. Yeah, I'm hoping somebody drops a quarterback because I can't even believe I'm going to have to go into the win and get in with Mac fucking Jones as my quarterback. And granted, he's got a great matchup against Arizona. Arizona's offense is downright putrid stopping the pass. But just the whole design of the offense is just a joke. It really is. Would you rather have Darren Waller, Darius Goddard, TJ Hawkinson, or George Kittle at tight end between those 4? I'd rather have Dallas Goddard above all of them, then TJ Hawkinson, then George Kittle, then Darren Waller. Dallas Goedert was performing like a Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews light until he got hurt. It was a real shame what happened to him because he was like gangbusters before that injury came down. TJ Hawkinson's been, he started out good. He's been inconsistent the last couple of weeks. I am worried about George Kittle going forward because I don't know how much passing they're going to allow Brock Purdy to do. I think it's going to be very heavy with Christian McCaffrey screens, very heavy with Deebo Samuel screens and jet sweeps and all that other stuff. They're really going to try to take the pressure off of Brock Purdy. So, I think Kittle may not be as productive. You would think, okay, rookie quarterback, the tight end's going to get a lot of targets. Usually that's how it goes. They're like the safety valve, but I don't think it's going to be like that. I think Kyle Shanahan's really going to kind of dumb down the entire offense. Did you see that Jalen Waddle said he feels good? Yeah, Jalen Waddle doesn't have any sort of injury designation or anything like that next to his name on Yahoo. So he doesn't have any question mark right now. And that's the deal with Jalen Waddle. He's very tough. He's very durable. Got it over Hawkinson. May ask why. Trust me, I love both. Because, Hawkinson has never really been consistent. Not that Goddard has either, but in this offense, especially this season, they've been targeting him heavily. And he's been a very trusted outlet for Jalen Hurts. And I think that certainly that really helps keep his numbers afloat on a weekly basis. And he's been much more consistent than TJ Hawkinson. How much do over-under projections factor into your decision to start a player? It does. So, like, for instance, last week with the Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields situation, the Denver-Baltimore over-under was, like, I believe the lowest on the board. So that's why I went Justin Fields. Had nothing to do with injury, but it just happened to work out, with Jackson getting injured. I don't mean it that way, but meaning that I made the decision because Jackson got hurt. But the over-under number is what made me make that choice. And you look at Detroit, Minnesota, I believe that's the highest over-under on the board. So there's going to be a lot of fireworks in that game. Should I be worried as a Jamal Williams owner with Swift on the up and up? In standard leagues, no. In PPR leagues, maybe. Swift looked really good, and he doesn't have any injury designation for like the first time this whole season. And that just speaks again to how injury-prone DeAndre Swift is, that you really just can't totally ever depend on this guy. And that goes for next season. I know he fits my age profile, not being 27 or older, but he is so injury-prone that I just don't want anything to do with him next season. All right, so the healthiest team has been all year. Only player lost with Ertz. Yeah, listen, now you just jinx yourself, Zamora. You might want to scrub that comment. When is Goddard eligible to come back? I think he's coming back next week. I think that's when the window opens up. Should I drop Kareem Hunt for James Cook or Pacheco? Either one. The Kareem Hunt thing hasn't worked all season. Whoops, sorry, guys. I just hit the laptop. Either one, Cook or Pacheco. I'm fine with both. Joey Bosa should come back, I believe. And again, that 49ers defense is very talented. So, Jacoby Myers didn't practice today. Neither did Damian Harris. I think Myers will be back. He's been very disappointing on a weekly basis as well. And, I have him in one league, and I'm going to have to roll with him again because of the bye week. And, this bye week just sucks. I mean, to have 6 teams and, you look at some of the names that are on byes this week. I mean, Aaron Jones and Brian Robinson, Cordell Patterson, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, Christian Watson, AJ Dillon. It's insane the amount of players that I don't know what the NFL was thinking. And certainly in fantasy football, it's going to lead to a lot of fluke situations in terms of decisions. Will that hurt A.J. Brown? No, it's a Death Lord. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith were fine even when Goddard was on the field. Do you think this was a good bounce back game for Saquon and was a good sign? You know what, Jeff? He wasn't that great, honestly, on a per touch basis. His yardage wasn't very impressive. But listen, for better or for worse, they're going to use him heavily. I think Darius Slayton is going to be a thing the rest of the season just because there's nobody left. But they have a very, very difficult matchup with the Eagles this week. That is not a good matchup for the Giants. Barkley is going to be a running back too, in my opinion, this week at best. And the passing game is going to be even more scary. That Eagles secondary is just unfair. Well, with James Bradbury and Darius Slay. Do you think Old Swift is back? Yeah, I would say so, Bez. I think he looked really good. Can he stay healthy? That's just $1 million question. It's never an issue about talent with DeAndre Swift. It's all about whether he can stay healthy. I feel like there's enough running back depth on waiver wire to cover the bye week, at least in my league. I'm not. For me, it's the quarterback. That's what's killing me. Who's the front runner for NFL MVP? Pat Mahomes or Jalen Hurts? Has to be Jalen Hurts. No question. Would you rather start Foreman over Barkley? No, I wouldn't do that. Who's a good wide receiver to stream? At Olave, Ayuk, and Christian Watson on bye. Don't feel good about Mike Williams. Yeah, that I don't. I'm not sure. Let me get to the waiver. I have my waiver list here that I wanted to bring up for this week. My guys and James Cook, like I said, that's the number one guy that I'm looking at. So, all right. So it's Waiver Wire Tuesday. We do this every week. So James Cook is number one on my list, and Zonovan Knight is 1B if he's still available. I think his ownership right now he's at about 50%. So that's about the threshold that I use. If he is available, you pick him up. You could even interchange it with James Cook, 1-2 there. Yeah, Josh Palmer. I don't think Josh Palmer is going to be available south, but yeah, he would be a good guy. Peoples-Jones, maybe. It's still a little work in progress with Deshaun Watson. All right, so Nico Collins, that's the name. If Nico Collins was dropped, grind, you can pick him up. Tyler Huntley, we talked about Tyler Huntley. I think he absolutely should be picked up. Him and Jared Goff are my favorite streamers for the week. Goff over Huntley slightly. That over-under is very high. It's going to be a shootout. Vikings can't stop anybody through the air, so I think Goff is set for another big game. I know he doesn't run, but I think he's more dependable than Tyler Huntley, who's making his first start. Huntley, Daniel Jones, Tannehill, or Pickett this week. I'm not going Pickett or Daniel Jones against Philadelphia. I would go Huntley. Tannehill, I'm not inspired by. Go 49ers, Baker Mayfield, the Rams picked up. Yeah, Baker Mayfield to the Rams, I think, was just to stop the 49ers, in my opinion. Isaiah McKenzie, Nico Collins, Corey Davis, Michael Gallup are all available in your league. Wow. I like Isaiah McKenzie and Michael Gallup more than the others. Again, Isaiah McKenzie the last couple of weeks is becoming the second option ahead of Gabe Davis behind Stephon Diggs. Someone had a stat about how Andrews has been excellent with Huntley at quarterback. No idea if that can. Yes, if you go back to last season, Andrews went absolutely ballistic down the stretch of the season in the 5 starts that Huntley was under center. You think Chargers can make a push to make the playoffs? I think they can make a push. The talent is there on offense especially, but they just can't seem to get out of their own way. All right, so Alec Pierce, his ownership right now is 14%. He had a good game last time out. Again, you don't want to go crazy with the Indianapolis Colts players, but, Pierce has been productive. Mike White, he's still out there in a lot of leagues. Mike White, I know he's got Buffalo this week, but believe it or not, the Buffalo defense against the pass has been leaky over the last month or so. They're much better against the run. So I think there's going to be another happy scheme for the Jets this week. Greg Dulcich. So Greg Dulcich available in about 60% of leagues. Now, Nathaniel Hackett spoke today about how they're using him as a wideout. And that's always attractive when you're talking about a tight end, you being used as a wideout. And that's what Dulcich has been. They've had a problem with Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy maintaining their health. We know how bad Russell Wilson has been. So Dulcich is certainly worth picking up. Cam Akers, no, I didn't see that coming last week with Kyron Williams being pushed aside again completely when he really should have been the guy they were looking at. Akers scored twice. He still doesn't really have that burst. He's not averaging a robust amount of yards per carry. It looks nothing like the guy that was interesting to me prior to the Achilles injury. He still lacks the burst. He lacks the speed. I just don't see it coming back for him ever. And but again, he's getting the opportunity. He's getting the work. And at this point in the season, we can't, beggars can't be choosers. If you need a running back, you got to look in his direction. DJ Chark, we all know how good the Lions have been. So DJ Chark is on my waiver wire top 10 this week. And Hunter Henry. So Hunter Henry, again, he's been a frequent red zone target for Mac Jones going back to last season. They get the Arizona Cardinals this week, who can't stop anybody, especially on the passing side of things. So I think, Hunter Henry is somebody I would pick up. Who's the best Seattle running back to pick up? Homer. I think DJ Dallas would lead the committee with Travis Homer coming in on third downs. But, I wouldn't go crazy. I said this even right after the injury. I really don't want to own any of the handcuffs in Seattle. I'm just not inspired by any of them. Thoughts on Dameon Pierce rest of season? He had a mini comeback game last week, this past weekend. It's just hard to trust him because the Houston offense is so bad. You put him on any other team, he's going to be robust. I do think the long season is also starting to show up with some decline in production and rate stats and things of that nature. So, I'm not really high on him the rest of the season. So, Just the wrong team for Pierce to be on. Would you start Jeff Wilson this week after? No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I don't know what that was weird. I mean, I know it was a bad matchup, but I just don't understand why they went to that extreme. Let's see. You think should push to make the playoffs? Okay. So I missed a question here. I'm sorry. Which running backs are Gus Bus or Drake? Oh God, that's bad. I guess Gus Bus. I mean, if you can do better than that, Tuniski, I wouldn't bother with either one of those guys. I don't have Dameon Pierce, but I would not be confident in Texas in general. Yeah, no. I mean, he's producing in spite of that passing attack. I don't even want to call it a passing attack. Nico Collins has been heavily targeted despite Houston. Yes, he has been. He's kind of doing what Brandon Cooks did last season. Cooks' start the first couple of weeks wasn't bad, and then he just completely fell off the map. All right. Do you like having stacks in your team? Yes, I do like having stacks. And that's another reason why I'm looking at Mac Jones this week, because I have Jacoby Myers. So, I know Mac Jones just doesn't run, though. It's a problem. I can't even believe I'm in this situation, to be honest with you. Did you say start Tyler Huntley or I'm leaning Deshaun Watson, just because he's more dependable in my opinion. Last week was a dud, and you shouldn't be surprised at how bad last week went because he hasn't played in over 700 days. So I have to choose between Gus Bus or Drake. I'm leaning Drake since he had more opportunities. Yeah, I mean, listen, he'll catch passes. Gus won't catch passes. So if this is a PPR league, Tuniski, then I would do it. But those are not good options. So so as far as Mac Jones, a little blurb here: the Patriots might open up the offense and pass a bunch against the Cardinals defense that ranks as the league's most extreme pass funnel. Every team turns dramatically toward the pass against Arizona. The Patriots constantly playing from behind with a dysfunctional offense coached by a failed defensive coordinator should be no different. That should make Jones playable in deeper formats. So there it is. So I'm going to probably have to go with Jones. I'm not going to pick up Baker Mayfield with just, 2 days to go there. But so this is going to be torture for me this week. It absolutely is going to be torture. Like I said, the one league, I'm going to have the bye next week. So it's awesome. I don't have to worry about what happens this week. I'm safely as the 1 or 2 seed, depending on if I lose this game this week, and I won't have to play next week. But would like to play next week in the other league, but I still need to clinch my spot. And like I said, I could still back in if another team loses, and I'm up 18 points on the season on this team, so I have to outscore this team, on Sunday. And, in situations like this, I can't even watch. So I'm going to watch the Giant game definitely because I'm a Giants fan. But I'm not sure I'm going to be able to watch the other games. It's just going to be too much torture for me. I just can't deal with it when the stakes are this high. That's just it's stressful for me. And, why do I keep playing? Why is it so stressful? It's what I do. And that's what we all do, right? Whether other QBs are available. Yeah, Purple Cat, it's only Mac Jones, Kyle Allen, Brock Purdy, Baker Mayfield, and Sam Darnold. Like those literally, and Tyler Huntley, who's somebody ahead of me. I'm actually last in the waiver priority. A couple of people already said they're picking up Huntley, so I'm not going to get Huntley. So those are the options. So it's either Darnold, and my opponent has DJ Moore, so I'm not going to do that, or Mac Jones. So I really have no reason to go anybody else but Mac Jones. Patriots need to get Ramondre Stevenson more involved. Yes, they do. The run game, it's tough to run against the Bills, though. So if they do the screen game, they throw more to him over the middle, I think that would work out good. I'll probably have to stream Goff if I can get him since I have St. Brown. Would you like Watson over Goff? I like Goff over Watson this week. I made a claim on Goff in my 10-3 league because I do need a quarterback because, again, just like the other league, I have Jackson and Justin Fields. So I need a quarterback, and I'm going to pick up Goff just to get me through this last week. Who knows? It's all a crapshoot at this point. Zay Jones or Pierce in my fight. You got to go Pierce. Zay Jones, that was a disgrace what he did last week. How do you rate Christian Watson's rest of season? I had Walker, D. Henry, and P. Ryan last week. Almost lost me the game, but had Hurts, AJ. Yeah, I went against AJ on Brown's defense last minute to win a game. Yeah, that's good, Yusbera. Christian Watson's he's been a cheat code. He's been a touchdown cheat code. And I have him in one league, and I didn't play him the first couple of weeks because I was a little leery about the fluky nature of the touchdowns. But you know what? He's been fantastic. And the one thing Aaron Rodgers does around the red zone is he looks for Christian Watson. And they're even giving him handoffs, which he scored on last week. So they're putting him out in space and they're finding ways to get him the ball. So I think he's legit. And I think he'll be a 3rd-round pick next season. Purdy had a great game, to be honest, though. I don't know how he's. Yeah, no, listen, I've said this before. When a backup quarterback comes in off the bench, they have like a nothing to lose attitude. When they know they're starting the following week and they have to practice all week and whatnot, things change and then the pressure ratchets up. They don't have time to think when they just come off the bench. They play loose. Now, Mr. Irrelevant there, Brock Purdy is going to be thinking about this all week. Would you drop Pickens for Jameson Williams? I don't know. They didn't even use him last week. I know that Jameson Williams has got a lot of talent, but I don't know how much he's going to play. If you don't need Pickens, yes, I would do it. If you're depending on Pickens, I wouldn't, because I don't know how long it's going to take for them to really unleash Jameson Williams. You're welcome, Mike. Thoughts on Nick Chubb rest of season? Only had 8 fantasy, but Death Lord, the thing with Nick Chubb is, and everybody who has him knows that he's very touchdown dependent or 100-yard rushing dependent. He's got to get either one, or it's not going to be a good day, because he just simply doesn't catch passes. So that's the issue there with him. And it's going to be that's the name of the game when it comes to Nick Chubb. And I really thought Kareem Hunt would have a bigger role, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen at all this season. Hopefully, see Watson wins me in my fantasy league. Also have St. Brown. Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's the one guy I regret that I don't have any shares on. He's been unbelievable. So now next year, we talk about Justin Jefferson. We talk about Cooper Kupp. We talk about – and actually, if Matthew Stafford retires, I don't know. Kupp might be sliding and his second serious injury in 4 years. You talk about Stephon Diggs, you talk about Devontae Adams, who's starting to creep up a little bit in age. Devontae Adams, got to watch that next season. Now you have to add Amon-Ra St. Brown. He absolutely belongs in that stud PPR wide receiver 1 tier, no doubt about it. Defense start Chiefs or Patriots? Chiefs. Definitely Chiefs. I have the Chiefs. I'm riding the Chiefs the rest of the way. I picked them up for the playoff run because they have amazing matchups down the stretch in the playoffs. Bucks or Ravens defense? Bucks play 49ers, but no Jimmy G, and Ravens play Steelers, who have been terrible. I'm gonna have to go the Bucks just because of Brock Purdy. You always try to go against a rookie quarterback, especially one who doesn't have pedigree like Purdy. AJ Brown's gonna be my first pick. Yeah, AJ Brown. He's not the PPR guy that Diggs and those other guys are. So in a PPR league, he's not in that tier. He's slightly below that. He's in that next group. But yeah, he's phenomenal. There's no doubt about it. And I just can't wait. I already have so many good ideas for my fantasy football draft guide. I'm going to get right to work on that as soon as the regular season is over. And it's going to be good. And it's going to be quite a big book this season. So make sure you pick up your copy when it's available. Hey, Blair, how's it going? Should I start a Gabe Davis, who's going up against the Jets? That's a tough matchup. Or Jeff Wilson at the Chargers? God, I know the Chargers is a good matchup, but I don't even know what Jeff Wilson is going to be able to do. The problem with the Jets is Sauce Gardner is the best cover corner in the NFL already. There, I said it. And then their other corner there, Reed, is being graded like a top 5 guy. So they're both lockdown corners. That's why I think Isaiah McKenzie is going to have a huge day. If you have Isaiah McKenzie, he's going to go crazy over the middle, because I don't think Josh Allen is going to be able to consistently hit those deeper passes to Diggs and especially Gabe Davis. So I guess, Blair, I would have to say Jeff Wilson. They know that they screwed up only giving him 1 carry last week. And the Chargers can't stop anybody on the ground. So that is an ideal matchup if you have a running back going against the Chargers, because they're so bad against the run. Yeah, I love St. Brown. Doesn't get enough love at the position he took off his work. Yes, and he's starting to score some touchdowns now too. He was really good the second half of the season, and now he's carried that over to this year. You see the 49ers making a playoff still? They could. It's I'm not, Baker Mayfield was not an option, Death Lord. I don't think they were ever going to do that. But Brock Purdy, can they make the playoffs? Yes, but I cannot see them winning a game, unless they really just dumb down the offense completely, just put the ball in Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel's hands on almost every play. They have a chance. If they just ask Purdy to just do these short dump offs, these screens, these jet sweeps to McCaffrey and Samuel, it could work. And that's why I think Samuel gets some new life now that Jimmy G is hurt and Purdy's under center, because he's going to take more handoffs. He's going to get more jet sweeps. He's going to get more short throws. So I think Deebo Samuel is going to have a decent rest of season, and especially Christian McCaffrey. Make sure you own Jordan Mason because of all this extra work that McCaffrey is going to get. I am a little bit worried about his health. All right, so exactly why was I going to play McKenzie? Because of the Sauce Gardner factor. Sounds like a good call. Yes, definitely. Sauce Gardner dominated Justin Jefferson last week. I know Jefferson caught a touchdown, but it was not against Gardner. It was on the other side of the field. So he's been as good as any cornerback in the NFL, and as a rookie, no less. He was the best player in the draft, hands down, coming into the draft, regardless of the position. And it's going to be interesting to see Odell back to the Giants confirmed. Is that you speculating, Blair, or did you just see that? Because I don't see that anywhere. But speaking of Odell, so that was another thing. I didn't really touch on that. So Jerry Jones spoke today. It looks like he hasn't worked out for any team. Speculated. He's not going to play this season, maybe in the playoffs. So, going to the Giants, that's not a good option. It would be Dallas, if he wants to worry about returning for the playoffs. And the fact that he's not doing any on-field workouts is a major red flag. Would you play Rondale Moore if deemed good to go? As long as you get that early, before the game, because he's playing Monday night. So, I have Rondale Moore on the bench. I'm going to go Jacoby Myers, DeAndre Hopkins, and CeeDee Lamb on the league that I have to win. So basically the decision is Jacoby Myers over Rondale Moore because I have Hopkins as well, and Hollywood Brown is there as well. And I just don't see the Cardinals throwing it as much against New England. New England likes to, slow the game down, a lot of running plays, eat up the clock. So I don't think it's going to be that typical shootout that you see with Arizona when they're always, playing from behind, throwing a ton of passes, because I don't think they're going to fall that far behind against a very methodical, ugly New England offense there. Jets defense is coming off of age and rise. They're going to be scary. Yes, listen, Mike, this is a Super Bowl worthy team with a quarterback. Like if you put Joe Burrow on the Jets right now, they would win a Super Bowl. They have 2 lockdown corners. They have a future All-Pro who was going to be an All-Pro running back this year in Breece Hall. And now you have depth with Michael Carter and a real find in Bam Knight. You have a future stud All-Pro wideout in Garrett Wilson, who's been unfreaking believable the last couple of weeks. You have an offensive line that has Elijah Vera Tucker, who is a Pro Bowl caliber blocker. You have a defensive line with an All-Pro tackle in Keenan Williams. You've got playmakers up and down the linebacker core. This team is legit. Totally. And this is coming from a Giant fan. I have to be fair. I have to be honest. The Jets are going places if they can just find out if Mike White could be the guy. If not, this is a deep quarterback draft class coming up. Maybe they trade up for CJ Stroud. It's possible, or maybe they go, a project guy like a Spencer Rattler that they can maybe bring along. I don't know. But there's, Will Levis, the kid from Kentucky, he's there too. So, it's going to be interesting to see what the Jets, if Mike White can be the guy. And certainly the first couple of weeks, he looks like he can be, although he did throw 2 interceptions last week. Time to give up on Juju. He sucks again. Yeah. You can't give up on him because he's with the Chiefs offense. You just can't do it, L-Dot. I mean, you could bench him, but don't cut him. Anybody with the Chiefs offense, you still got to be in on. Rate my starting lineup in my 4-man league: Josh Allen, Eckler, Saquon Barkley, Death Lord. That's as good of an offense as you possibly could get. And I know you told me about this 4-team league. Even in a 4-team league, you can't lose with that offense, with that lineup. How do you think Tampa Bay running backs do against 49ers? Trevor, they're not going to run the ball well, but they're going to catch a lot of passes. They want to Tom Brady, 50 passes a game. A lot of those are going to be funneled to Leonard Fournette and Rachaad White. We saw that yesterday against a much worse New Orleans defense. Fournette and Rachaad White both caught, I believe, 6 passes. There's going to be a lot of dump offs. both guys. I'm playing both guys in one league just because of the PPR potential. But as far as getting rushing yards, it's going to be very tough because that defensive line is for real. You saw what they did to Miami and to New Orleans. Let's see. I drafted Garrett Wilson too, but dropped him in one league. Oh man, yeah, that's tough, Mike. And it's hard to blame you. Zach Wilson was so god awful that Garrett Wilson was being held back completely. So I understand. Would you play Njoku or Everett? I would say Everett because Njoku is not. I don't even know if he's healthy. I mean, tomorrow, by the way, I'm going to stream again tomorrow. First injury report of the week, probably around 5. Does 5 or 6 Eastern time work better? I'm just curious about that because I never know with the times what works better for you guys. I know a lot of people are probably just getting home and having dinner at 5. So Eastern time, I don't know what works better for you guys, but, what was the question? Oh yeah, Garrett Wilson, he's absolutely legit. And, with Mike White, he's playing like a wide receiver 1 in fantasy football, which is what he can do the rest of the way. I think Odell Beckham going to the Giants helps Barkley the most. It could, Deathlord, but he's not going to play this year. It doesn't look like he's ready to play. It looks like this tour that he's taking is to secure a deal for next year, so he doesn't have the pressure of trying to get a deal during the offseason. Thoughts on Debo rest of season? And yes, I'm Eldad. I spoke about that a few minutes ago. I'm high on him. And again, this is coming from somebody who was very anti-Debo Samuel for the majority of the season, and I've been proven right up to this point. But now they're going to, like I said, they're going to have to really strip down this offense. A lot of short throws to Debo, let him create after the reception. He's very good at that, did that really well last season. And then Christian McCaffrey, dump off to McCaffrey, jet sweep to Samuel. That's what the offense is going to be. Maybe a little bit of George Kittle sprinkled in. Brandon Ayuk is going to get screwed. He drops sharply to now just a flex play from a high-end wide receiver 3. So he's going to get hurt the most. Speaking of Brandon Ayuk. So that's my take there because I think Debo, like I said, it's not for lack of talent, it's lack of opportunity. Thoughts on Jamar Chase versus season? You think Burrow goes to him more or Higgins? No, Higgins is not the guy. It's definitely Jamar Chase. We saw that last week. Higgins had 3 catches. I know 1 went for a touchdown, but this is the Jamar Chase show all the way. Should I flex Ayuk or Bam Knight? Oh, Bam Knight, 100%. 100%. He looks great, man. This guy, and I was surprised he wasn't drafted because, I was really high on him going back, to the draft. Not, high on him in the sense that I think he should have been drafted at the very least. I'm going to see if I can pull up my draft guide that I did so I can read you my if I can just read you the blurb that I wrote on Bam Knight. But, he has been beyond good and not a total shock to me either. All right, let's see here. I'm out of the playoffs in this league. I dropped Garrett Wilson. So you're out of the playoffs. So how many of you guys are actually out of the playoffs? So, I mean, are you all alive this week? I imagine. And like I said to you the other day, I think that the viewership has dropped off slightly, and I think that's because of the fact that some people are not involved in their leagues anymore. I was looking through the fantasy app and came that the Titans now give up the most fantasy points to wide receivers. Yes, they do. The way to beat the Titans is to beat them on the through the air, not on the ground. They're very good at. Oh God, I was just there too. They're very good at stopping the run. Microsoft. I'm just trying to log in to see if I can pull up that Bam. I'm not technically out, but I need a lot. Yeah, I need a lot of luck too. Like I said, I actually moved up a spot. I went from 6th to 5th, which I could. I guess that was the silver lining in all of this. But it was just an absolute horror show of a game for me yesterday with Rashad White. I'm not sure if I keep my seed. Yeah, that's that. Listen, the seed is important too. There's no doubt about that. All right, I'm 10-3 in my 4-man league. 10-3 in one of my 10-man. I'm 9-4. Yeah. So listen, Deathlord, it looks like you got it going on right now. That's for sure. Thanks, Bless. I agree. Bam looks very sad. Yes, for sure. Michael Carter, I forgot. So Michael Carter is not going to be a thing anymore. I liked Michael Carter. I thought he was somebody who had a lot of initial potential, but now it's I think his time has passed. He's been surpassed by the kid there, Knight, and I just don't see it getting any better for him. So, but anyway, so I am concerned, like I said, about the situation with the the Cowboys with Houston. Are they going to blow them out so quickly that they're not going to be able to, keep the offense on the field, keep the guys that they want on the field? That's what I'm genuinely concerned about. So, I need a big game from CeeDee Lamb. I need all of those things to come to fruition for me, because, it's all hands on deck right now for sure. And, hopefully it all works out. Fantasy football. I'm still trying to find that document for you guys. 2022, that's fantasy football, NFL draft. Maybe it's this one. So I could read Bam Knight. How would you still play Raiders defense? Titans fired the GM after that blowout. Yeah, you know what? That was ridiculous. So this guy, to fire the Titans are in the playoffs every year. So, like, I don't understand what would, I know they're probably chapped about him trading A.J. Brown to the Eagles, and it wasn't a good look that he scored, 2 touchdowns, against their team in that blowout loss there. But I think that was a little bit of a reach trying to fire him like that. And that team has been winning. And listen, the talent's not great on offense. I get it. But they're coached well. It seemed like a good partnership with the coach there. So I don't know. We'll have to see who they're going to bring in now. Would you still play Raiders defense even with Baker Mayfield? Yes, 100%. Yeah, you definitely have to do that. Next option to drop is to drop Jameson Williams for a waiver. Yeah, and start Mike Williams or Ayuk. You got to start Mike Williams if he's playing. I would not start Ayuk for all the reasons that I mentioned already. It's not looking good there for him with the transition now from Jimmy Garoppolo to Brock Purdy. It's not going to be a good situation there. So I just found that file. I'm going to try to see. Smart not to draft Derrick Henry. Seeing figured the foot injury, no more A.J. Brown, Julio Jones. Yeah, I think it's also a tiredness there with him. He's starting to hit the wall. He's an older player. Has had a lot of issues there in terms of workload and whatnot. So, I think that we're seeing the age become a factor, when it comes to Derrick Henry. And honestly, he was very good at the beginning of the season. There's no doubt about that. And I think that, he's still viable. Like, if you look at his playoff schedule, the next 3 weeks, I think he's got Jacksonville, one of them. He's got the Chargers, who can't stop anybody on the ground. I think that it's going to be, it's a good bounce back opportunity for Derrick Henry. And if he struggles again, then I think we have reason to be concerned. All right. Do you have any thoughts on who's taking the NFC, AFC? I think I'm starting to lean the Bengals now that they've handled the Chiefs, for the last couple of times they played them. And now I have to say that the Philadelphia Eagles need to be considered the favorite. I think that without a doubt, the Eagles are the team to beat. And, honestly, they deserve that because they played well all year. And, the Jalen Hurts, my goodness, he's really taken off and really doing an unbelievable job in the passing game. And, they're legit. I mean, they're totally legit, 100%. When I say Tom Brady has been a fantasy bust, I blame it on his receivers. To a point, and next year, like I said, we have to draft the dual threat quarterbacks. We can't be drafting these older one-dimensional guys like, Matthew Stafford, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. All 3 of those guys went bust. And Derek Carr, he's had his moments lately, but him too. All of those guys failed to yield the value that we anticipated there. I'm kicking myself for drafting Lamar instead. Yes, I did that too, L. Dot. I did that too. So it's funny you bring that up. So I was just thinking about that yesterday. I was on the clock, and it was between Hurts and Lamar Jackson. Now, I'm a Giants fan. I cannot root for Philadelphia Eagles, the team I despise more than any other team in football. And I was still a little concerned about his passing acumen. There's still legitimate questions about him as a passer. So I went Lamar Jackson. And listen, the first month of the season, Jackson was as good as anybody. He had those back-to-back 40-point games. But now in hindsight, man, that was a colossal miss on my part. But then I also picked up Justin Fields, and that worked out nicely too. So I'm not beating myself up too much about it. But this week certainly could be my undoing because, having Jalen Hurts this week against the Giants is going to be scary for the Giants. Vikings, Eagles will be NFC Championship game. A bit money on. Okay, I mean it could happen. Dallas I think has something to say about that. I don't respect the Vikings. I don't trust Kirk Cousins in any big game. He's proven that over and over again that he doesn't have the stones to handle pressure. So I'm not a Vikings fan. I'm just not. Should I drop Paris Campbell for DJ Chark? Yes. I would do that. Stop waiting around for any of the Colts. There's no reason to own any Indianapolis Colt offensive player. There's no reason to own any Denver Broncos offensive player. Other than Dameon Pierce, there's no reason to own any Houston Texan offensive player. That's how you got to look at this now. There's no reason to own any Los Angeles Rams offensive player. So there's certain teams you just need to be completely out on. And those four especially stand above the rest. So all right, guys, I think I'm gonna close it up. An hour stream tonight. Would you consider Olave must start moving forward? No, not now. And I love Olave more than anybody. I had him as the number one scoring rookie wideout. I think he's going to get passed by Garrett Wilson. But anyway, guys, so yes, you're welcome, Mike. Look for the stream notification tomorrow. I will be back probably either 5 or 6 in the evening. So make sure you join me for that. The first injury report, that's going to be a big one. So we need to discuss that. Eldad, you have a good night. Have a good night, everybody. Happy birthday, Death Lord. Hope you have a good birthday tomorrow. Everybody have a good night. Be well, stay healthy, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.